Hello, I'm Wendy Wilson, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Realizing Potential. For the next few episodes, I'm going to be focusing on local authors, many of them who are graduates of Albany State University. But as we continue to promote literacy and the need to improve literacy in this community, I thought it important to showcase and highlight those individuals who are doing it day to day, impacting lives through and transformatively, specifically through the pages of a book. And so I'm honored to have a dynamic duo, a couple, married couple, who have a great presence in the Southwest Georgia community, who are educators by trade and have a passion for it, and who have come together and authored a children's book. Both of them have the distinct honor of being called Doctor. They have earned those titles. And so welcome to the show, Doctor. And I'm so proud to say that she's also my sorority sister and my line sister, Miss Dr. Latonya Peterson, and then also Dr. Manswell Peterson. How are you both today?
We are doing great.
Doing good.
Good. Welcome to the show. I will, of course, ladies first. Ma'am, tell us a little bit about your educational background, your choice in degree pursuits, what you do so well on a daily basis for us.
Well, I was educated in the Dougherty County school system. Great education. I went to Albany State, graduated in 1999. I actually majored in healthcare management. I really never worked in management because I was always working with my dad at his law office. So while working there, I went ahead and got my master's. Once I got my master's, I started doing victims advocacy work. I started doing that for a little while, and then I started teaching. I started teaching at Troy University in my 30s. I was probably the smallest one over there, the youngest one over there, probably the only African American over there.
Okay.
That was actually teaching. I started teaching criminal justice because it was, my background. I knew everything about it. So I started teaching at Troy. I worked at Troy as an adjunct for about 3 or 4 years. An opportunity came up for me to direct student services. So I started directing student services for about 4 years. After that, I was still working adjunct at other places. So the opportunity came where I was full-time at Argosy University and also full-time at Troy University. So I ended up letting Troy go. And I still worked at Argosy full-time. And then I started working adjunct at Argosy because I don't know if a lot of people know, but Argosy actually closed. So that is when I started working at AIU, American Intercontinental University. So right now I'm still there. I'm a full-time criminal justice instructor. I love it. The campus I'm located in is Atlanta. I teach fully online, a lot of diverse students. I also teach management and leadership part-time too at Albany Tech and several other schools. But I love teaching. I love students. I love college students, and I love children. So that's a small snippet, I guess, of my educational background.
Okay. I'm glad you said a little snippet because I was like, "What small? What?" I'm catching my breath. I'm like, "What?" So you all know. I think everybody knows. I go to bed early, and I've got to get it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, "Well, when did she sleep, sir? Did she ever sleep?"
She doesn't. She's always going. She's always going. And I just look at her like, where the Energizer Bunny batteries at? Because she's always going, always doing stuff. And I had to literally get her to slow down.
Yeah.
To do these children's books. I'm like, come on, you got to slow down just a little bit for me so we can knock these out. Because she's always going. She didn't mention all the community stuff she does and
I know
advocacy boards and everything else. So I'm like, okay, can I get 2 hours a day? Can I get an hour a day? So that was the process of us actually writing the Braylen and Bear series, trying to squeeze in time as we could. But
I love that. Well, I love that approach that you took, sir, with that. And then she also mentioned you all have been married. I saw you chuckle a little bit because I think that introduction started during, it wasn't Argosy, it was the previous institution. Isn't that where you all met? Is that correct?
Literally, oh no, I'm gonna tell this story
Troy.
here.
He's got the story.
No. I first met her at Darton.
Oh, it's Darton.
I was
Okay.
actually going to speak at Darton, and I saw her, and I was like, I tried to holler at her, and she's like, no, I'm busy, and she just walked up, and I said, I'll see you again one day soon. And so through the years, I actually reconnected with her, and so that she was at Troy then, and that is how we actually, got together. Me myself, like I said, I was educated Doherty County Public School System. Went on to Albany State, where I pledged the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And so, from there, I went on, to Troy and did some other stuff. And I literally left being a college professor to become a full-time author.
Okay.
The opportunity was there, and I took it because sometimes you have to go after your dreams.
Exactly.
And so I decided to go after that dream. And like I said, last year was phenomenal. I did 15 books. And it was amazing because no one had seen that kind of productivity in a long time.
Well, wait, now let me just, I need some clarity now. I know you have an extensive portfolio in terms of the books that you've authored, published. Are you saying you wrote and published 15 books in 1 year? Is that what I heard?
Yes, 1 year. Yes, I broke all kind of records. I'm the first African-American male to create a paranormal universe. And Amazon actually verified that. And they put that on my Amazon page. It'll tell you, first African-American male to create a paranormal universe. So literally, my fans in the United Kingdom, Australia, Germany, and the US, they all love it. And it's just been, last year was a whirlwind because she'll tell you, I was up talking to book clubs in the middle of the night because I would stay up or I would get up, take a nap and get up and talk to them. And they're like, are you serious? You're going to talk to us? I said, I will call in, set up the Zoom, and I'll call and talk to you. So I talk to readers all over the country. We have a dedicated cell phone just for readers, and they can call me and we talk. It all depends on their time schedule, but that is my connection to the readers. And so now we're just trying to take it a step further and even go deeper and further with everything we're doing. But 15 books last year.
Well, sir, I don't think he has any room to talk about you being an Energizer bunny.
He is very busy. So exactly.
Somebody snatching each other's battery pack at times. That's So I love you. Thank you for sharing that story. What that says is, and you spoke it earlier, is whatever your dreams are, whatever you put your mind to, it is certainly achievable. I want you all to practice some balance, though. Please incorporate some sleep into that. I know
we check each other all the time on that. So she'll tell me time to go to bed, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'll tell her time for a break. And so we do that constantly. And so we do our out-of-town trips and everything else. So we make sure that we keep life, family balance where it's very well. So
good. I'm glad to hear that. Now, before we go a little more specifically into the actual book that you all have co-authored together, please share with the viewers about your academic background. Sorry, I want to be fair. Okay. So I
feel like Jon Snow on Game of Thrones now because she's got this like 15 pages. I went to Albany State, majored in criminal justice, went to Troy criminal justice, went to Nova just like she did criminal justice. And I left, actually, I got the writing deal, so I left. But I took over Darton's Criminal Justice Homeland Security Department, and I ran that for almost 2 years. And the deal came, and so I left. And so that's why I said I feel like Jon Snow, because even though we're there, her list is like here, and my list is like, I'm just Jon Snow. I got, I got my education, and I'm just here. I just write.
Okay. Well, you've certainly done well. So you approached your lovely wife and partner and said, hey, this is a way for us to share collective passions or combine them. Let's sit down and then spend time together. Let's sit down and write a book together. And you've decided on a children's book. What was the inspiration for the children's book?
Well, the inspiration for me was Braylen. I would always take Braylen to the library, and we still go to the library.
And Braylen's your son, your amazing son. Okay.
So I would go, and Braylen would be like, I like these books. I really like these books. I said, Braylen, one day I'm going to write a book. He said, that would be great. So, and this was months ago, and I approached my husband. I was like, I really want to write a book. He was like, well, you have to take time. It's different from criminal justice. So you got to take the time. So, eventually we took the time and did them. We thought about the titles and everything. We thought about when we were writing the book were all about him. We wanted it to be about Braylen, how Braylen is, how he cares, how he shares, how he loves his friends. And we actually got all of that information and put it in 2 books. And I really love both books.
Wow. So, what was Braylen's opinion on the book? Was he a part of the writing, the editing process? Was he your first reviewer?
He was the first reviewer. The first
reviewer. I think he got a kick out of it because I set it up for the second book to come out on his birthday, and so that was the biggest thing for him. I made sure that we had it for him for his birthday, and so his thing was, this bear almost looks like me. It's pretty cool. So he was just over the board excited. And so now kids are all over it. They're enjoying it. They're loving it because we also wanted to throw those little bitty life lessons in there because kids at that age and younger, we want to make sure they understand that caring is sharing and you can have friends and you can make new friends. And, we wanted that to be in there because sometimes we lose focus on that, even as adults. And so you definitely start with the kids, and that made it even more special. But literally, when she came home from the library today and told me she wanted to write a book, I just looked at her and I'm like, this is different. Look, this is not academic writing. You really got to come up with characters, plot, story development, everything. And so she really put in the time, and I was so proud of her for doing that because I'm used to doing it. But for her to make the adjustment, like I did 12 years ago, she made the adjustment. And so I was proud of her for doing it. And, I just gleam with happiness when I see her when she holds the book.
Good. You should gleam with happiness. She's an amazing person. So we want to talk about the titles and the basis for each of the books. But if you could also share, because you talked about some of the lessons that it presents. And I just have always had a passion for reading, adored. But I love that you all had the focus of what we pour into our child. And I know you have other children, another son, right? Is that correct? So two boys. I know you all have had numerous conversations with them, but your generosity in sharing the lessons that you provide your own children, your extended family, that you wanted to give to others. So we need the names of the books and what are the core lessons that each of the books introduce to or share or provide to the reader.
Okay, Braylen the Bear and Friends, Forever Friends. That was the first book. This book was basically about Braylen and Timmy. Timmy's a turtle. They are best friends. They do everything together. So there are a lot of different circumstances and events that happen in the book. First of all, Braylen forgot his lunch, and Timmy shared with Braylen, and a lot of times at school, when it comes to lunch, children don't want to share. So that was one lesson. Another lesson was they were racing. Timmy is slow because he's a turtle. So instead of Braylen knowing that he can win, he waited on Timmy and was like, "You're my friend, so we'll walk together." It's just different lessons like that. And that was throughout that entire book. And I really loved it. And it's kind of like Braylen will uplift a friend before he helps himself.
Wow.
It's like it's all about he cares. His compassion is very strong for a young age. So I actually thought about that also. But it's a great book of lessons, the first book.
I love it. So you had a living, breathing example and inspiration for the characters in the book. The second book, what is it about in the title?
The second book is Braylen the Bear and Friends, and it's called Snow Fight. And that deals with Timmy actually being out of town with his family for the holidays. And so the snow is coming down. Braylen wanted to play, and he was a little sad because his friend's not there. And his mom actually had to explain to him, there's nothing wrong with making new friends. And so as he went out, he saw these other kids playing, and the lesson of actually being nice and making new friends and expanding your horizon when it comes to friendship and other people that are not like you. And so that was the essence of Snow Fighting. So you saw some of the other characters that came in and you saw them have fun, and he realized I can have fun even though Timmy's not here. And so you have to realize because some kids go to grandma's house and they're gone for the whole summer. And so you have to have other friends to play with, same as come for, Christmas holidays. Some families will go out of town. And that was the essence for that. And we saw that with Braylen when some of his friends actually went out of town, he made other friends. And so we use that as the motivation for that one. So great story, fun for everybody that's reading it right now.
I love it. I love it. Are there any plans for any future fictional pieces?
Believe it or not, two of the other characters, Chrissy and Calvin the cat, we just dropped that book as well. So but I'm doing that. I did that one by myself because I know her time schedule right now.
Two was my limit.
She so had far. Two. Because I can go in there and I can whip it out real fast and get it done. And it was like, she was like, look, my schedule's busy. Maybe sometime in the future. I said, okay, no problem. But I wanted to get the whole series out because we wanted to actually show the representation for the other kids. Say, look, we have some children's books that are done by us and for us, because that's what I kept hearing for years. And that's why I was surprised when she brought it to me. She was like, I want to do these books. Let's do them now. And so you'll see so many other books come out there, and hopefully I can pull her out of work mode and author a couple more. But I'm not pushing that, because when she says no, I let her say no. And Braylen and Band Friends will continue, and there'll be some other great stories and other lessons. And so that's the exciting thing. But hopefully, knock on wood, we can actually flip that to a cartoon for the kids as well.
Well, our time is running out, but I do have a few more questions. So we're going to take a brief pause and then come back, because I want to ask just maybe 2 or 3 more questions before we wrap up. So viewers, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Got a new house. I think I finally found a place that I call home.
Viewers, thank you for joining us again. I'm having a really great conversation with 2 outstanding individuals who happen to also be married, in post-secondary education, accomplished international authors, and then have teamed up to author not 1, but 2, 3 children's books. Is that what I heard before break?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 3 children's books. Wow. One of the things, and we'll go back to sharing the titles again and where our viewers can purchase the books. I don't want to overlook something that was said earlier. And you were saying that it was, you shared with her that, being an author is not always easy. Of course, you have to have a creative mind and spirit. There was a level of discipline when sitting down to write. But you were particular to share that with her, remind her of that, because of the transition. So she's been in the criminal justice space, and I know published writings in that space, but that is very specific, nonfiction genre. Right. And then to make a shift to that, and you have to then exercise that creative muscle. So I applaud you for that. I'm working on a book myself, and I hadn't gone back to touch it in terms of edits in about 2 or 3 weeks. So I need some lessons on. Yeah, I did the marking up. It's done. So then I took the red pen to it. I think that's the part I'm like, oh, those red pen edits and it hadn't even gone to the official editor yet. So I marvel at the thought that you were able to do 15. Ma'am, you've done 3, and you're like, let me go back to my normal world. But the fact that you did it, that's a huge accomplishment. And I want to keep reminding people that whatever it is that you decide that you do, you have to be intentional in making room to have that dream come to fruition.
Right.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. So for those other avid readers out there in the I'm assuming the sci-fi space, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I know nothing about. I thought I heard you say something about a metaverse.
Yes, I created my own.
Sorry.
I created my own universe.
Universe. Okay, please tell us about that, and then we want to know about the books that you did in 15. Look, I can't even get it out.
Right.
You wrote and published 15 books in 1 year.
Unbelievable.
Yes. Literally what happened, Lacrodum Universe, and that's what it's called. That's the title, Lacrodum Universe. It was my creation, and the biggest problem I had, because I love sci-fi, I love paranormal, and I love magic. I've seen everything that has come on TV and the movie theaters. My biggest problem was representation.
Sure.
We always are playing these secondary roles, and we're not in the forefront. And so for the first time in Amazon's history, you actually see Black females and males on covers of paranormal books. I mix in a different variety of races, so you're going to see everybody included. So the universe is for everybody. And so when the first two books came out, I made sure you saw two strong female leads. And it blew everybody away because they were like, we never seen that before. And I wanted to make sure they saw that. So the female readers that I have, they loved it. They were like, are you serious? Are you serious? And so I'll do a cover reveal on social media, and they went crazy for the covers. And I think they spent more time inboxing her. And they were like, is he really going to put this out like this? And everybody was like, yes, he's going to do it, because I'm always bold in everything I'll do. And so as you read the stories, it's 8 books in the universe, and then there's 4 books in the academy. The academy is for we call it YA, which is from, you can be in 6th, 7th grade on the way up. And I got kids who are in the 6th grade reading. I got kids in high school who are reading it, and their parents are inboxing every single week. When's the next one coming out? It takes me about a month. You got to give me time. But for Academy 4 just dropped, and so I got kids who are finished reading it already, and they're already talking about book for number 5. And I was like, you got to do it in February. But the other 8 books are for the adults. And so my whole process was putting the books out, getting the stories. And so I have one beta reader, and he knows everything about the universe. So he knows everything that's happening beforehand. So while you guys are reading books 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 8, my mental block, I'm already on books 12, 13, 14, and 15. So I'm way ahead of what you guys are reading, and it allows me to keep that, what we call rapid release, going. And so next month, you'll see 2 or 3 more books. And then next month you'll see 2 or 3 more books. And we're going to keep that process going, because my goal this year is 22, 24 books. And I'm going to keep doing it because, again, to make them understand us and allow us in that game, you have to show them that we can do the same thing they do, but better. And that was the whole process.
Yeah. I saw an interview with Kugler, the one that did Girls Trip. Well, no, my gosh, the whole Black Panther series. Who was right. Ryan, is it Ryan Coogler, I believe? Yeah. And he was talking about how he, had to just went around the country, shopping his product, his, the script, and because, again, just, it's one thing, we always talk about diversity and then we stop there. There's a hard stop. So absolutely there is a need for representation. That is also coupled with the inclusion piece. So yes, I might be represented. And you talked about when you were talking about representation, I went to, was an old joke, but it is actually factual. Years ago, when they would have sci-fi movies, that the Black people would be, you could guarantee that Black people would be killed off in the movie the first 30 minutes of it. Yeah. And that was our representation and role. So we would never play the lead character. Throughout the entire movie, or at least halfway through. And so we, that whole decision, stop waiting for somebody to do something for you and to do it yourself is what I'm hearing you say. Yes. And then, of course, I don't know why it's always a surprise, oh my gosh, it's a box office hit or it's a bestseller. And I'm thinking about Black Panther. Well, yeah, there is, we are not monolith. We are not homogenous. There is an interest, we do read, we do have diverse body of interest. Although I have to say, in terms of me and sci-fi, I stop at the old Twilight Zone series with Rod Serling. So this is all new to me.
And that is why Latonya was so important, even at this particular moment, because as you notice with Game of Thrones, they did 2 or 3 spinoffs.
Yes.
And again, no representation. And we got these small roles. And so now we're getting everybody's attention, where you got streaming services and everybody's looking. They're like, okay, we see this now. Now we see you. Now we see you. But it's up to us as a collective people to say, okay, let's push it higher, because that's what everybody else does. If they want to see something, they'll rally behind it. And I always tell people, to support an author, you might not always buy a book, but you can share the link and the information with your people. And that is how we actually get to those tables and say, okay, now we know there are enough people interested. Let's put this out there. Let's make this happen, because you don't always have to buy the book, but you can share the link. You can share the fact that, hey, this Black guy created a universe. Amazon was so floored when I took it to them. They were like, are you serious? I'm like, yes. So they went and did research about 6 months, and they realized we never had a Black guy create a universe. And so everything with Amazon has to be, vetted and everything else. So once they verified it, they allowed it to go in my author bio, because it's actually true. No other Black man has created a universe. And it's been so long for anything new to come out, because they're rehashing all the old stuff, and they're actually just spinning off. And so now we got Lakota out there, but I've done the first part. Now it's up to people like you and the readers and the fans and the non-fans. The non-fans are just as important as the readers, because they might have 6-7 people they know that love paranormal.
Spread the narrative.
And spread the word.
Spread the word. Well, hopefully this will be a huge part in helping to spread the word, and also just eliminating. I don't know if it's just with age, I'm exhausted by. I used to celebrate first. Oh, we're the first to do this. He's the first. And I'm tired of saying the first, because as you all know, as I said earlier, we are not homogenous. We are not monolith. And so when I find that people, not people of color, and even people of color, that are still surprised that we do this and we do that, and we're accomplished in this space, and we climb mountains, and we're deep sea fishermen. I mean, all of those things, and we're rocket scientists, and the surprise. I'm exhausted by that. So we need to normalize, and the way that we normalize it is, again, diversity, the representation, but having that inclusion piece. And as Shirley Chisholm said, and if we have to bring our own folding chair, and that's what you did. I'm bringing my folding chair to you, Amazon, and to those who say that, yeah, you all don't do this, and in fact we do. And you have a really great readership and interest. So I applaud you. Congratulations. I know it has not been an easy process. You all make it look easy, but I know you already confessed that you now have somebody not sleeping on a regular basis. So that's where. So again, back to the boundaries. Before we wrap up, 2 things, and you will of course please share again where they can make the purchase the book. I do want to share with the readers. We shifted with this, and thank you for allowing me to do that. This was originally supposed to be years ago. We talked about Darton. I hosted a book festival, and I called it the Timbuktu Book Festival, which was a nod to the amazing history of the city of Timbuktu, which has an unbelievable literacy rate, and an amazing historic library. And so I was always I was intrigued by that. Again, dispelling that myth that people of color don't read. But that's a whole nother show and another story. But nonetheless, was named it the Timbuktu Book Festival, was going to resurrect that, if you will. And I was concerned about time and really getting the word out. So I changed it to a virtual format. But I do think that we will still have that. So I'll get back with you on a date, host that on Albany State's campus. And then I was saying the children's book, but you've got to bring the metaverse. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. You got to bring the metaverse there too. Because the representation matters. And I know that you will be a huge inspiration, not only to our students who, have those books within them, and to kind of guide and coach them along the way. So I'll get with you in terms of when we're going to get that actually scheduled and squeeze that into your busy schedules. But while we have an audience now, please share with the viewers 2 things. Who have been your who inspires you and that are also in the author space, and then speak to those budding authors. Give them some words of encouragement and how they should go about the process of just getting started.
Well, my favorite author, of course, is my husband. He really inspires me. But growing up,
I should have said it beside
I
you, but okay. I didn't
I
throw
have
that out there.
always
Anybody
loved,
but your husband.
just Toni Morrison,
Yes.
Terry McMillan, Elan Harris, all of those authors that a lot of people have forgotten. I see a lot of people have started by reading their books, but I loved all of them, and I definitely love all of my husband's work. Some of the works, I'm like, I don't know if I like this or read this, but everything he has written, I have actually loved, and that
Wow.
is a blessing to
Yeah.
write in so many genres like that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. He and then all of the I've read some of Manswell's works as well in the past. I hadn't the universe. I'm going to get to that, but he is a really great writer. Um, but those that you mentioned are really great storytellers, and that's what you want. Of course, we approach books for knowledge and better understanding, but also it's just important to escape the reality that we walk in
Yes,
every day, and
yes, absolutely.
see ourselves and other people's lives and be inspired by those fictional characters. So yes, when you were rattling off those, and I love all of those authors. Toni Morrison will have your head spinning, and then also
Yes,
running. You got to read it 2 or 3 times, like, what? What are you
yes,
saying? But that's the value of reading. It sparks critical thinking, and so many other areas. And then it just provides you an opportunity again to escape. And Elan Harris, certainly did that for us. And as you
yes.
mentioned, Terry McMillan, and now you got me wanting to go. Did you all ever get into Donald Goings' book?
Now, that's one of mine, because Donald Goins, Elan Harris, Patterson, literally, well, I met Elan in Atlanta.
Okay.
And it was so funny, right before his passing, and he told me,
Wow.
he says, when the world finds out who you are, they're going to be shocked.
Oh,
And I
wow.
dedicated one of my books to him. I can't remember which one because there's so
Did
many books in there,
you?
but I dedicated one of my books to him because he took me from, I was at a book festival and they had me by the bathroom. And I was small potatoes and I was selling books. I was out selling a lot of people. So he told the guys, move him from the bathroom, put him up
Nice.
there. And so they moved me and he said, when the world finds out about you, he said,
Mm.
trust me, they will never forget you. And
Wow.
that's my motivation all the time, to live up to what he said about me. And so
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna do.
That was wow. That was such a gift that he gave you. And then to see you and recognize you and say, hey, let's relocate him. I met him, believe it or not, he did a book signing at a Walmart when I lived in Maryland. And I
Right.
was struck by the fact, I'm like, you're in Walmart selling your books? And and
Yes.
he was like, absolute, very humble man,
Very.
great, gifted and talented writer. But he was like, yeah, remember I used to sell them out of the trunk of my car, and going from, hair salon selling them. So absolutely. Yeah, I can do a Walmart, and no knock against Walmart, but I was so enthralled and like, oh my gosh, you need a grander, more premier platform. Let me stop before I get in trouble with Walmart. But because again, no knock on Walmart. But yeah, those are great authors that you all have both shared. Now, inspire those students at Albany State University that have that that desire, that spark to want to put something pen to paper, or their thoughts to computer, tell them old school. And then also our viewers as well, how to go about the process, taking the first step. You don't have to be an English major. You don't have to be the best speller. You just have to, you guys fill in the blank for me.
Well, I always tell people, because I call it author boot camp. And yes, she went through author boot camp. The first step into writing is pick up a pen and start writing. Most people want to type, and I tell people, if you want to really write, pick up a pen. It forces you now to move away from technology because now that notification is not there. Now that Facebook ding is not there. That Instagram ding, that TikTok ding is not there. Take your pen, get you some piece of paper, and just, I would say, even go outside or go to a room where there's no technology Start with your main character. Start with what you want to write about, and then let it flow from there. Once you get to a certain point, take a break, 20 minutes, come back to it and look at what you wrote and expand upon it. Anybody can write a book. They just lack the discipline to finish it. And that is what I always tell people. I've met people all the time, and she'll tell you, I get people all the time, I'm about halfway done. No, you're not halfway done. You're done. You got to finish it. Pick up your pen, finish it. No more excuses. And that's what I gave her. And I tell people this all the time. Don't come tell me I'm 25% done, or I got this idea. Have you put it down on paper? No, then you don't have a book yet. Write it. Write it. And when you write it, guess what? It's going to happen. It's going to materialize. You cannot slack off. Cut out some TV time, cut out anything else, and simply write. You write a character down, talk about that character trait, do the character development, do the story development. And then when you mix together, it's like cooking jumbo. It's like once you do the gumbo, you have different ingredients. And so as you start to put different things in there, now it starts to hit your nose. Same thing for writing. As you put those characters in there, you get everything going. Guess what? Now you're starting to get more and more hyped up because you got the bad guy, you got the good guy, you got the secondary person over here, you got the secondary person over here, you got supporting cast members. And before you know it, you're halfway done. You're 75% done. Guess what? Now you're done. And now you go through the editing part, which is actually painstaking, as you know. But once you get to that editing part, that's where the bump in the road happens. And you got the red line, go back. Because she'll tell you, me and my content editors, we go at it. Because I have two different content editors.
Oh.
I have one that actually does the children's side for me. For the Y Academy, it's called Lacrodom Academy. Then I have one for the adults in the Lacrodom universe. And so we are going at it. And you would think that, hey, they don't like each other. And so one is a husband-wife team, and we go at it all the time. And it's like, they're like, okay, people are going to be mad at you because you did this and you did this. I know I want them mad. And so that's part of the process. But that's how you get it done. I use the term no excuses. And I gave it her all the time, no excuses. Yes. Give me time. You give me time, I'll put a book out. And so that's how I was able last year, 15. That's how this year, 20 plus. No excuses, because we're going to take over and we're going to show people, whether it be Amazon Prime, whether it be Netflix or Hulu, it doesn't matter who. When you come, guess what? I'll have material for you. And you're gonna give us that top because we've earned it. Not because you feel like, okay, I want to just put you here for diversity's sake. No, you've earned it. And that's the difference. So we give you great stories. We give you great characters. Plus, every time I write a book, she gets mad at me. Yeah. Because you never know who I'm going to kill in the story. And so my readers, they understand.
Okay.
Never fall in love with a character because you never know who I'm going to take out.
Wow.
And I'm going to mess with your emotions. And that's what I do as an author. I mess with your emotions. I'll make you happy. Then I'll make you sad. Then I'll give you pleasantries. And then guess what? Then I take your character away from you. They're gone. And this is not Days of Our Lives. This is not Stefano DeMera. Once I whack them, they're gone. And then, because she's like, I'm going to put you outside. You didn't have to take that person out. Yes, I did.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny. Yeah, because I was like, what you mean bring them? And I forgot that was a nod. The soap operas still do come on because they would bring them back now 1,000 times. Yeah.
My characters, I have people literally, like I got this one lady, she's in Wichita, Kansas. And every time she reads a book, before she starts, she's like, how bad? I said, 10 out of 10, 10. She's like, oh my God, are you serious? But you never know because I introduced you to so many characters.
Yeah.
You never know which one I'm going to pull out and take out of your life. And so that's the part that gets them, because now you got to go to the next book to see what happens. And every time I send them a book as beta readers, they're worried. Who's going to survive? Who's not going to survive? Wow. And I'm around here laughing. And so she's like, let me just go ahead and read because now you're going to make me mad now. And then when they find out, trust me, the readers, my emails and phone blow up. Because the reading line will blow up and the emails will blow up. And one lady told me, I'm going to come kick you in your bad ankle because you just took out my favorite person. I'm like, I said, but did you enjoy it? I did. I said, okay, understand it. That was the whole point. Gotcha. I got you right where I want you. And I got your emotions right up. And that's what reading is, to take you away from this crazy world that we live in. You get a chance to actually live in this fantasy world in Lacrodom. And so the fans will start calling it the rabbit hole. They said once you get in the rabbit hole of Lacrodom, you can't get out. And so they're all the way on book 8. And so now everybody's anticipating book 9, including her, because they don't know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen.
Gotcha.
But they don't know what's going to happen.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, I was so in my in addition to reading and when I'm trying to escape the crazy world. So when I do turn on the TV, I can't tell you what new show was out because I'm still turning on Jessica Fletcher and Columbo. And see, with them, I know who was killed like in the first 5 minutes. But then I sit there and help them solve the mystery as if I hadn't seen it 1,000 times. So yeah, so I could see where one's head is spinning like, oh my gosh, you've taken me along this great ride, this journey with this character, and then now all of a sudden they are out of my life. So yes. I see how you capture people. So my head is spinning. I talked about the book festival, was in a meeting the other day with the president, and she is really an advocate for literacy and wanting to raise the literacy rate in this community. So we've been having some conversations with the school systems. In addition to that, we're planning for some of our summer camps, trying to get them on solidified. And so want to have some conversations with both of you all, because would love to include you in engaging our young people and even teaching them at a very early age, that pen to paper. And thank you for saying that, because we are so tethered to these phones. And I hear people talking about, oh, I produced a book on the phone. So yeah, it's something about pen and paper. And now there's been studies to show, and I know you all know this, that people retain information better if they actually write it down. We use a different part of our brain. So would love to have some conversations out you. And now we got to make that come to fruition because it's now in the public domain. So I'll speak with you about that. Let me just say congratulations again, and also thank you, because you are gifting to the world through the entertainment lens, through the lens of engaging people. You are gifting to the world the whole representation piece. We do it all. We have done it all. We will continue to do it all. That's no knock on anyone else. But what you have most importantly said and demonstrated is that anything is possible if you decide to make it possible. Yeah. So thank you so much. You are fine representatives of Southwest Georgia, Albany State University, this really great community, and now representing in the metaverse, right? Did I say it right? Okay. I've enjoyed you both. Know that you are welcome to come back on the show to talk about the books and what's next. Just much and continued success. And then I'll be in touch, as I said, because we've got to get you on campus for a couple different reasons, but would love for you to sell those books and put them in the hands of our greater community, and certainly our Albany State University students. Before we end this, the names of the books, again, the children's books, because that's how we started off with this. And how can they reach out to you all if they want to do direct purchases or for even speaking engagements?
The books are Braylen the Bear and Friends, Forever Friends. It is on Amazon. Both books are on Amazon. The second book is Braylen the Bear and Friends, Snow Fight. And we do have Caring and Sharing. That is also on Amazon. So all 3 books are on Amazon. They can just look up our name, Manswell Peterson or Latonya Peterson, type it in Amazon, and they can get those on Amazon. Okay. And for any speaking engagements, just email me, text me. I really keep his schedule and keep my schedule. Anything you have, I will put it on the schedule and make sure that he's there. We're there.
Okay, very good. Definitely. Dr. Latonya Peterson, Dr. Manswell Peterson, it has certainly been my pleasure. Continued success, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Viewers, thank you for joining me for this edition of Realizing Potential. I'm Wendy Wilson, and I look forward to seeing you next time.